to share that we're stepping into this journey of helping folks to really take who they are and tap into who they are, align with who they are, develop who they are, dive deeper into who they are. Some of the pre-work questions are super they're intense, right? They're intense because I don't want it to be fake. I don't want it to be from something that's not real. So in that aspect, we want to prep them for reality. We want to prep what we're creating for reality so that we can truly impact people with our lives. This isn't an autobiography, right? This isn't just all about me, who I am, and what I want to do. It's not just about the autobiography, but for me personally, I feel it's the it's the space of tapping into who you are, tapping into the lessons that we've created and we've unfolded, and in that aspect, then using that to help others. So how do we truly unlock our impact? How do we tap deeper into who we are besides who we are as a profession, besides who we are as a parent, as we show up? When we usually ask people, describe yourself, sometimes people get a lot caught up into describing a lot of the physical, a lot of the chores and the jobs and the roles they play. But impact goes beyond roles. Impact goes beyond being a CEO. Impact goes beyond being an entrepreneur. Impact goes beyond being a mom. Impact goes beyond being, hey, I see you guys popping in. Say hi, your hi matters. Impact goes beyond what people may see. So if people may ask me a question, who am I? Right? So I'm gonna ask you, who are you? We tend to go, well, I'm an audiologist, I'm a coach, I'm a speech language pathologist, I'm a mom, I'm an autism mom. I show up and as whatever people may know the role that I may show up as. I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, right? So these are all the roles that we may show up. And what I love about when I did the Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins program, we were doing the seven levels deep, is that it took us beyond what people see on the outside, and it tapped us into who we truly are on the inside. And I believe who we truly are on the inside, our spiritual being, our soulful being, our lives that we have, the lives that we have been through are all unique. Like what I love when I have conversations with people is that we, even though I may have two coaches on the same place or two nurses on the same space or two audiologists on the same space, and when we speak to them, everyone's path is different. And I believe that God created each one of our paths to be different so that we can identify with what we are as unique individuals, and so that we can also align with others who may have walked a similar journey, who may have gone through some of the things that we've been through. One of the reasons why I wanted to focus on helping people with their books is because it took me over 40 years to decide to write a book. Like I wrote a book and released it at the age of 40. That was 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago. And it took me too long, right? Say the words too long. It took me too long. It took me too long to understand my impact. It took me too long to understand that I was more than just my title. It took me too long to realize that what I've been through, the experiences I've been through, and at that time, my first book was Amazing Gift, A Journey to Autism Acceptance. It took me too long to just use that aspect, that book, that story, that journey, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, all the things that we went through just to make sure that who I am now, who Zachary is now, our journey to autism acceptance, which that what that book was about. It literally was the journey to autism acceptance. It was our experience. It was my expertise. It was me beginning to tap in and to share more into what God has created for me, and the path that He's made for me. And as I began to help folks and help them to tap in, which is what a lot of this create your own storybook is all about, the Radiate Your Reach is all about, the unlocking your true impact, your direct impact, and increasing your income, elevating your income. It really is stepping into those stories, stepping into the highs, the lows, the parts that sometimes we've kept hidden because we felt keeping it hidden will be a form of protection, right? Would be a form of protection. But in this process, we get to really tap in and share the journey the stories, the impact, the lessons we learned, the trials and the tribulations that we went through, to use that to help somebody. You know how in church they'll say share your testimony, like share what you really been through, not the stuff that all the folks want to see on the front. Hey, Dr. Nima, not the stuff that folks want to see on the front, but the stuff that folks can't see, the hidden stuff, the stuff that we're masking. So honestly, it's not an easy feat to say I'm going to share my story. It's not an easy feat to say I'm going to actually put this into writing. I remember when I was asking my mom, you guys know our Launch the Legacy book. That was our last book that we released, our anthology with some of my coaching clients. And I remember when I was asking my mom to do her chapter, and her chapter basically closed off our book. The name of her chapter, and I absolutely love the way she named her chapter. The name of her chapter was, let me make sure I'm saying this right, Generational Lessons in Legacy. And she basically took that time out. This is the first time, even just reading her story, it was the first time I was able to see some of the things that she had to go through in order to get to where she is now. See, a lot of people see us on the front, right? A lot of people say, okay, I see Dr. Ali, she's modeling, she's on Good Morning America, she's doing all these things. But what they don't see are my life lessons. What they don't see are the times, like I shared, when I didn't get into my master's program, when I applied for speech language pathology and I could not get into the program. And I thought I was a pretty decent, smart student, but it was so competitive. I was applying and I wasn't getting in. And at that moment, I could have gave up. But God was able to send a different way. I was able to then do it through audiology, and then meeting my professor, who's also going to be in our Radiate Your Reach boot camp. She's going to be telling her story and helping other parents with speech delays and how they can help their child with reading. But using these stories and using the things that I had to go through just to get me to where I am today. And a lot of us say, oh, that's not important, right? Nobody really want to hear my story. Nobody want to hear what I've been through. And honestly, people do, right? That's why we go live. That's why we share things. That's why we create programs. That's why we help people in coaching. That's why we're here. We're here to help people by who we are. Like literally, that's why God took us through. I would say, God, why did you bring me through all these things, like all these challenges, the highs, the lows? Isn't this supposed to be like a smooth roll? Like I've done all the good things. I was a good girl. I went to school. I did all the things that I should have been doing. Why am I still, why are these challenges showing up? And why are these things happening? And these things are happening. And I asked myself these questions, and I began to learn that as I begin coaching my clients now, honestly, and I'll share more about that. As I'm coaching my clients, what helps me really tap into my clients, honestly, is because I see myself in my clients. I look at my clients and I see myself. I literally look at them and I'm like, yep, I remember when I did. I remember when I was struggling and trying to get my first client. I remember when I created my first group. I remember when I barely had 2 or 3 people that showed up to a live event. I remember when I had my first events in my mom's basement. I remember when I was trying to write the book and finish the book. I remember how I was questioning if I should even release this information. I remember questioning, are the people who read this information, are they going to feel hurt? Is it something that I should or should not be doing? Even having Zachary's picture on the front. I remember I questioned it so much when I was releasing my first book, right? And then Launch the Legacy, when we were putting that together, I questioned myself, should I even be doing this? Are they even really interested in this? Am I pushing something more than they even want? So sometimes my dreams and my visions for people, and especially my coaching clients, be very big. It's big because I hold space for them, just like how I elevate myself to high levels in my head. I tend to be around other folks who are high dreamers also, right? We all have these high desires, right? Karen, I see you. Too long, it's easy, but it's weird, and we're here to use our gift. And all these things that we are trying to do, and we're putting ourselves through, and we're trying to figure it out, and we keep setting the bar higher and higher. And sometimes what I realize is even when we set the bar high, when it doesn't happen, we give up. And one thing I know is I'm not giving up on you. I don't give up on me. Like I might be that only person. I always tell people I might throw a retreat and be the only person in that retreat, but I'm not giving up. I'm going to have me the best expensive vacation ever to date, right? And that's why when I have clients and they're putting their same self together, and I have these folks that are coming in with the story and they want to write a book, they don't know how to write a book quickly. They're back in their head, they're stuck, they're questioning themselves, they're taking forever. And everyone's hearing them and seeing them and like, girl, share your story. Like, I want to hear more. You sharing your story actually is helping me. Like, I needed to hear that from somebody who looked like me. That's always what I get. I needed to hear that from somebody who looks like me, who represents me, who I know is not all the way up there, but who can share about me, about the trials and the tribulations. So when I say create your own brand story and create your own expertise story and your experience story, it's putting all these things that God has given us and has taken us through, and we're going to get concrete in how we do it. There's a process I'm going to take you through. I got a blueprint because y'all know I'm a systems chick. I got to have things duplicatable. So we got a Radiate a blueprint that is going to take you through just how many days? 20 days? 20 days. 20 days within the 6 weeks. So you don't even have to write every day. You don't even have to write. You don't have to share your story every day. But you're going to have 20 days of just working in this story, of getting it done, of putting it in and getting it edited and getting the cover and pushing it through within those 6 weeks. And I could have made it a 21-day program or make it over 3 weeks or whatever. But I don't want to rush people, and I don't want people to feel that angst. I don't. One thing about when you're putting something together for God, when you're putting together a purpose project, you do not want to feel that pressure, right? That level of pressure that doesn't feel good. Now there's that pull. There's a pull and then there's a pressure. The pull is, I know I should be doing this. I know I have something inside of me. I know I'm scared. I'm scared to move, but I do know there's something inside of me that needs to move. The pressure is the, oh my God, I can't sleep. Oh, I'm stressed. Like my hair is pulling out. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. The pressure is when it gets, the energy is so heavy, you can't even move forward. Right? So instead of making it a program where we would put it inside of 21 days, I'm like, I'm going to pull it out for 6 weeks. I mean, if they finish it earlier, even better. That they get a certification at the end, they get a blueprint at the end. If they want, they can help other folks create their books, because I believe in not giving you just the fish, but giving you the rod to go fishing. So if you need to help someone or you need to do it again or help your kid, then you have the blueprint on how to duplicate it and do it again and again and again. But the key first is that we have to know that we need it. We have to know that we were purposed for it. We have to know that we have to show up. I need to type up that this is it's bigger than me, right? Me doing this, it's bigger than me. Me creating this boot camp for helping folks to write a book is bigger than me, and I'm making it the lowest costing product that I have in terms of me showing up. Like, it's under $1,000 or just above $1,000 if you missed the early bird, right? And the whole goal of it is to complete something, to complete your impact, complete your story, complete it. Instead of starting and stopping and starting and stopping, freaking complete it already, so that you can impact those who God has created you to impact. So you can get that into the hands, get it into the eyes, get it into the ears of those who need it. Like, you don't get to play small anymore. We don't get to play limited anymore. And I get to go, I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have to do another book. I have the amazing gift. I got the launch of Legacy. Zachary has his book. Mama has her book. Why do I need another book? Because I'm going to be working on my next book too, because it's time. It's time for me to share the stories. It's time for me to share the stories of what it took for me to get to these places that people are questioning, how did I get? It's time for me to stop answering the questions so much verbally and just say, read my book. It's all inside of that. It's time for me to put it into a space where people, if they can't afford to work with me, they can still get some of the answers by reading it in the book. It's time, right? So if it's time for me, it's time for you, it's time for us to get our brand story out, our experience story out, our expertise story out. Now, when we get our story out, how it leads to income, that's the fun part, right? This is the fun part. The fun part, and I'll share with you the profit part. The fun part is deciding if we're going to take this book and use it to get more media. We're going to take this book to get more exposure. We're going to take this book to use it as speaking, an advancement for speaking. Let people know the book is available. You can use the book now as a guide or something that can help you to substantiate what you're going to be speaking about. So there's so many things that you can use with this book. You can get this book to get you in front of corporate. You can use this book to get you in front of hospitals, in front of everywhere that you know that you're going to create more impact, this is where you can use this expertise book. So it's not just me saying write a book, get it out. Yes, get it out, because if you're not here tomorrow, somebody needs to know what you've been through. If especially if you're doing something and you're walking in a purpose path. If you're walking in a purpose path, and it's funny, Dr. Lima just popped on, and I have your book right in front of me. I have a Confidence Now book in front of me, and I'm thinking, and I have like a few of my other clients' book in front of me. I got Terry Wade's book in front of me. I'm thinking about all my clients. I have Zena's book in front of me. And I'm thinking about how they all just, this is my first amazing book, gift book. And I love to show this one because this is the first edition. Say, type down first edition. This is before I did all the changes and all the up levels and all the things. This first editions. It does not have to be perfect. This is it. A superimposed picture that we took on the beach in Queens or the Bronx, in the Bronx, right? So it does not have to be perfect. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for completion, right? We're not looking for perfection. We're looking in completion. But the key is for us to take our message to create more impact, to get it out there, to share it more, to have it in more hands, to use it as a textbook, to use it as a guide, to use it as a speaking tool, to use it as a media blitz, to use it as a podcast blitz, to use it as a radio blitz, right? What I love when we do when Sarah Jakes Roberts was releasing her book, my executives, my executive clients inside of New York, and then some flew in. I took them for a VIP experience to experience her book tour. So they can see that in your book, you can create a book tour. Like, and Lisa shares her background of how she did her book tour. And you literally just go to different cities, different towns, share about your book, sell out the place, or get folks who are interested, or get some ambassadors for your book. And now you have your message radiating. That's the radiance. That's radiating. Radiating is when there's one drop and it radiates out, right? So it doesn't just have to be you being everywhere, you being one to one, but it's one to many, 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 many. And that to me is the beauty of it. That's when we speak about radiating your reach. Radiating your reach, whether it's through the book, whether it's through a podcast, whether it's through media, which we're going to tap into all three. But it's really just taking who you are, creating alignment with your impact. And we have a process for that. So you don't have to try and figure it out. Don't got to figure it out. All of that, we have a question process, get you to speak it out, get it transcribed, get it all ready. So we can use that as your bio, use that as your first chapter, use that as your intro. Come on, y'all. Come on. And then get your stories and your chapters out as we navigate that space. And as we're navigating this space, we're sharing the story, we're sharing the impact, we're sharing, the lows, the highs, the things that made you cry, the things that made you laugh, all that stuff to create that sticky ooey gooiness, as Lisa Nichols would say. We'll be putting all of that inside of our book. And inside that space, that's where we're impacting lives. So once we have that out, then we move to the profit part. Then we move to the income part. Then we take that book and then we radiate. We take that light and we shine that light so daggone bright that it doesn't even have a chance to not impact, because we're using the tools to get it out there in front of many eyes and many, many souls and many hearts to touch. So I wanted to just pop in quickly and just give you guys a little loving, to let you know some access to what we shared. If you're interested in our Radiate Your Reach Bootcamp, definitely go to www.ignitepreneurs.com, www.http, no S, backslash. Let me see if I can put it up here in our StreamYard, and then make sure that you guys have access to that. You could also just ask me if you have any questions. I'm available between tomorrow and Thursday. Just send me messages, and I'll answer, right? I'll answer if you want anything of clarity to see if it's for you. But if you know it's for you, you know you really want to move towards that space of just getting your story out, of creating impact, of freaking completing. Somebody type out that word, completing it, because there's too many people who have started but have not completed it and need the support to complete it. Then let's get it completed. Let's get it out there, and let's freaking radiate your reach. Radiate what God has given you, so you can impact others and other lives that He took you through all them lessons and all them journeys and experiences. So he didn't do it for naught. I always say he didn't do it for naught. And it's not just for you, right? It's so that you can help others who need to know, A, either they're not alone, or B, hey, there's other ways I can handle this. I don't have to necessarily walk the same path if I see some signs that are leading up to that. And then C, they just become more aware, right? And awareness is key. Now is our time to truly tap in, tap deeper in. I was watching something that was sharing that we are now moving toward a fifth dimensional world. It's no longer just 3D. We're moving towards a fifth dimensional world. And what that is you really truly tapping into all our senses and being fully in tune with our spiritual, our spiritual energy and our spiritual alignment with ourselves and our messages to people in our spiritual journey, and sharing that with others, because all of that impacts our physical, impacts our financial, and in fact impacts our psychological and our social emotional. So we can't just pretend that we don't have journeys that we need to share. Can't pretend anymore. All right? Because we're here and it's real. So that's my quick message for you guys today. Radiate Your Reach boot camp starts Thursday, June 13th, 7 p.m. Eastern. If it's not for you, pass this out or let someone else know about it. Help someone to birth their dreams or birth their impact, and let God work. Really, truly let Him work. And if you need that, access to that is www.ignitepreneurs.com. The reason why it's Ignitepreneurs is because we're lighting it up. We're radiating, we're lighting it up, and then we're about to radiate together. All right? Have a blessed and amazing night. Any questions, please drop it in the chat. Please drop it below, and I am definitely open to answering up the questions. Be blessed.